Welcome to Half a Point, the podcast that saw the Giants put up 14 goals in one quarter to pull off the upset win versus the Brisbane Lions. Recorded here at half a point. Crazy way to cap off round 11. But this week is our round 12 best picks episode. We'll each be giving our five best picks against the spread. Tell me, break it down. He's back. I'm joined by my co-host, Carlton, a super fan, Cuss. Mate, you had a 1 week break, I guess. You were overseas, you're traveling. You're still interstate now, but you're back now. How are we feeling?
Yeah, traveled a little bit. So good to be back. But yeah, obviously missed a week of footy, but that is us sometimes.
Yep, still on fire. I can't lie. Like I listened back to the audio after we recorded and put it all together. Massive jump scare when your bit came in. I was like, what's happening? I was so jarring. But anyway, winning weeks for both of us. So we're on fire here at half a point. As a reminder, if you're new to the channel, please leave a like on this video and subscribe. We're also active on TikTok, on X, on Instagram, on Spotify. So give us a follow on those, and also a reminder to please gamble responsibly. All right, Cass. Let's jump into round 11 here. Starting off with Hawthorn versus Adelaide. Man, I said last week I was 1-7 on Thursday night games. I'm now 1-8. Like this one, I didn't think Hawthorn was the wrong side. Like it was a coin flip, I guess, for the cover. And I guess the way it's been going this year hasn't been going my way. I've just been getting like burnt on these Thursday night games. So yeah, especially on these favorites. So yeah, I'm like 3-9 ATS on favorites as well. So just gone awful with the favorites, but yeah, not a good week to start. Not a good way to start the week. But then we saw Richmond Essendon an upset.
Yeah, I pretty much use the same logic I do for any of sort of these sort of games where bad team always covers. When it's two bad teams, the dog always covers, and we saw
Mate,
it again this
I
week.
said it last week, and then it flew into you saying, "Well, two bad teams."
Yeah, it's almost like a given with me.
Yeah,
Most of the time, you can't always
but
run that trend, but.
it's been hitting this year. Yeah.
Yeah, it has. So yeah, it was good to see Tigers get the cover pretty comfortably as well. 3 goals. And yeah, I feel like they had control pretty much that whole game.
Yeah, that's right. And then Freo St Kilda, I thought Saints were unlucky not to cover.
Yeah, definitely a little bit unlucky there. I think they played a good game. I feel like they just couldn't really transition properly into the forward 50. But other than that, like they played a very good game. Um, Fremantle, we see them time and time again just take control of games, and that's exactly what they did.
Yeah, again, another cover as a home favorite. I think that's the fourth one for the year. So yeah, really hot at home. North Melbourne, Gold Coast. Cold had North Melbourne and the points here. Was not looking good in the second quarter, but then they storm home. Another one of those times where after Gold Coast play their Darwin games, they just can't run out games. And yeah, North Melbourne had all the run in the fourth quarter. It was at Marvel. It's a great spot for them. I was really disappointed with their start. Like if they came out firing, this would have been a blowout. But yeah, they get the cover of the win, get the win outright in the end. Advantage probably should have been paid. It should have been a draw, but whatever. We'll take the luck when we get it. Geelong, Sydney. I was on Sydney and the points. Not mad at the pick. Like this one, I'll make 100 times out of 100. Like, yeah, Sydney, sorry, Geelong, too good as a home favorite, but not mad at the pick. As I said, one of the best teams in the competition, getting 10 points. Probably a little bit unlucky. The game was a lot closer than I thought. Even though Geelong had a lot more score I think the game was closer than what the score suggested. But yeah, if you're on Geelong, fair enough. Collingwood West Coast obviously went to it. You're on West Coast. No sweat for you for the cover. Yeah, it was really never in doubt the whole game. West Coast almost could have pinched at the end. Would have been funny to see what they would have done with the fireworks and the show if West Coast had pinched it. But I was talking with a couple other people I went with. There's no way that they were letting West Coast win that game. A couple dubious decisions went our way, but yeah, finally good to see go to a game and get a win. It was a nice feeling there. Port Adelaide Carlton, your boys on a little bit of a run here.
Yeah, 2 weeks in a row we've been getting the win, so good to see. I think we put them away pretty early. I feel like took control in the first quarter and then just maintained the lead, kept it pretty well easy there. I think went in as the dog, so would have been good if you're on Carlton there, pretty much no sweat. But yeah, two in a row, good to see.
Yeah, and then the Giants Brisbane, we said it off the top. It was a very even game until half time, but you did sort of see the Giants were the right side. I think it was 14 and a half in the contest. Closed, I think, at 8.5, so definitely the right side. A lot of these games, I think, were on the right side. Like North Melbourne closed, I think, 8.5. Sydney, Geelong, I think that did close at 12.5, so I got the worst of the number there. Anyway, but yeah, Giants obviously incredible third quarter there. You don't expect those sorts of things to continue, but yeah, when the Orange Tsunami starts, it's so hard to stop. And yeah, this is what I've been calling for. Yeah, I feel like I've been on the Giants so many times, just waiting for that performance. I'm kind of scared that they let it all go in one game, but yeah, definitely them and the points was never really in doubt. Got a bit of heat for that pick, but yeah, again, no sweat in the end. And then the Western Bulldogs versus Melbourne, were both on the Dogs, and they get the win outright.
Yeah, absolute sweat this one. Like obviously because I'm not able to watch the game over there, so just updating the AFL app every 2 minutes just to see what's changed. And I could see the lead change, and yeah, it just makes you sweat. But yeah, Western Bulldogs come out with a win eventually. So really well fought for. Really good to see the Dogs just not only get the win but also cover as well.
Yeah, I think even though it was a sweat, which you're right, I think it was a wider. Like there wasn't a time where Melbourne was covering that game as 4.5 point
Mm.
favorite. So yeah, you as I said, with these close games, you really like to get the points. Even if Melbourne did, they should have won. Langford should have marked it and kicked the goal. But even if they did, we still would have covered that one. So yeah, good to get the win outright. So as we said, winning weeks for both of us again. So 3-2 for me. Um, as I said, expected score would have been 5-0. But anyway, 23 and 32 ATS. Cast, you get 3-2 as well, 24 and 31 ATS. So again, still the wrong side of the ledger, but as we said, we're going to 3-2 our way out of that hole. A lot of ball left to go. So I'm not concerned at all. One good week, and we almost turned it all around. Dogs had another really good week, 7-2 against the spread, 5-4 straight up. So five upsets there. Don't anticipate that, but it's good to see that the AFL is equalizing a little bit. This is exactly like what we want to see. Not only are they covering, they're winning these games outright. It's exactly what we want to see. Again, more than expected. We usually expect 2 to 3, but we'll take the wins when we get them and cash in. All right. Let's jump into round 12. Obviously, the buy rounds start now. So only 7 games to choose 5 picks from. So uh, once you get to the fourth and fifth pick, it's not like home runs, but we'll still obviously give out our 5 best picks. So we'll start off with St Kilda versus Hawthorn Thursday night game at Marvel. Last time they played, St Kilda were 18.5 point dogs. Hawthorn ended up winning by 20. I was brutal. I was on St Kilda that game, very close non-cover. Again, this time, St Kilda are 18.5 point dogs. Where are you going with this one?
Look, I've been on Hawthorn, I think the last three odd weeks, and they've absolutely burnt me. But that's not the reason I'm not going with them this week. I'm going with St Kilda plus 18.5, but I just think I do think West Coast will get this win, but I think 18.5 points is a lot to ask for them. Sort of playing out of form at the moment, and you can really see like the connection that we've seen in the past couple of years isn't really there. So whereas I think you look at St Kilda and they haven't been playing the best footy. You can see a little bit of disconnect, especially with like the amount of money that they're paying some of their players. But I just think they have what it takes to sort of keep this close. So yeah, give me St Kilda plus 18.5.
Yeah, gonna be a stay away for me. As I said, I'm all for on these Thursday games. I just like, nah. Like, I
Yeah.
really want to be in Hawthorn. Hawthorn, it was Hawthorn or nothing for me here. Fair enough. At this, I'm going with St Kilda. This was at 12.5 for ages. So I played a
Mm.
little bit of Hawthorn then. But I thought it was the right play. But then, yeah, I can't. I just can't do it. I have just to stay away from it. I do lean Hawthorn even to at this number. I just think it's a really bad spot for this St Kilda side and Hawthorn. I feel like that, as you said, they've been underachieving the last few weeks. So I feel like this one they could just put up a performance where they blow out this St Kilda side. I think it's I think St Kilda had a 5 day break and then now a 6 day break. So a couple on short rest. But as we say, the Saints as dogs, you don't really want to bet against that. It's not really a long term winner. So that's why I ended up staying away from it. So yeah, fair enough with your pick. I just think it's a bad spot for the Saints. Going to be a stay away for the contest. All right, moving on to your boys, Carlton versus Geelong. Friday night game at the MCG. Last time they played, Carlton were 10.5 point Dogs ended up winning by 18. Probably the biggest play I had last year, if I can remember. I was all in really on Carlton that game. Wasn't a sweat in the end. This time around, Carlton are 23.5 point dogs. Going back to the well, give me Carlton plus 23.5 here. This is my fifth pick, so I don't love it. I played it small, but um, yeah. Initially, I kind of leaned Geelong here. I thought, oh, Carlton, a couple of like wins in a row. Is the sugar hit gonna regress and go the other way? But this Geelong side has had like blowout after blowout after blowout. They just blew out like the Swans at home. Like you can't really be buying any higher on this Geelong side. This Carlton side, I don't know. I feel like the market might still be catching up to them. 23.5 points is a lot, and they've historically, I think the last two matchups, like you guys have like owned Geelong. I think a couple of years ago, you guys blew them out by like 63 points. It's also a little bit of a look ahead spot for Geelong. Like they came off the Sydney game. They've Adelaide, 6 day break. And yeah, this is that weird game sort of in the middle. So I feel like Geelong just want to get the win and get out of there. Yes, coming off a 6 day break, as I said as well. This Carlton side, they're playing free footy. They're playing a different style of footy. Like they're holding width on the outside and they're hitting their 45s. Obviously, Geelong can plan for that, but I don't know if this is the spot for this Geelong side. Yeah, can see them come out a little bit sleepy. Carlton take an early lead and end up covering. So you give me Carlton the points. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you said it pretty well. But we're clashing here. I'm going on Geelong at minus 23 and a half. Yeah, I think a couple good weeks for Carlton, and I feel like a lot of talk about them in the media, just talking about like how they're playing a whole different brand of footy, and whether that gets in their head or whatever. And they sort of regress a little bit. Whereas Geelong, they've been playing good footy, but it's almost been going under the radar. Like there hasn't been much talk about them, so they're just going about their day, playing the standard
They
footy
are
that they
premiership
do.
favourites.
Oh, are they?
Yep.
Oh, I thought it was Freo by margin.
No, I think it's Geelong now.
Okay, interesting. But fair enough, Melbourne team. But yeah, I think Geelong have what it takes to sort of get the win here, and as well as cover this line. 4 goals, it is asking for a lot, especially like with a very contested team like Carlton. But yeah, I think Geelong will find a way to get this line.
Correction, Geelong and Fremantle are the same odds, but they're both favourites. You're right. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's fair enough. As I said, I was leading Geelong at the start of the week, but then flipped to Carlton. So yeah, not gonna blame you for that. But yeah, good to see clash. Moving on to Sydney versus Richmond Saturday afternoon game at the SCG. Last time they played, Richmond were 13.5 point dogs, and Sydney ended up blowing them out by 44. This time around, Sydney are 60.5 point favourites. Where are you going with this one?
Oh, this was a difficult one. I just squeezed this in, and purely based off the amount of points that we're asking for here. So give me Richmond plus 60 and a half. Look, they played a great game last week, and for a team like that, you can like they're absolutely like high chances of regressing a little bit. But I also think Sydney's just not playing the natural game as well. And we said it earlier in the year, like they peak really high, but are they going to like sort of come down to earth a little bit? And maybe that's the phase that we're in, where they come down to earth. But yeah, I'm going with Richmond here. A lot of points to lay. But yeah, how do you rate it?
It's a big number, as you said, but it's a big number for a reason. So let's clash again. Give me Sydney minus 60.5 here. Who says I don't pick favorites, mate? I'm taking a 10 goal favorite. Yeah, look, fair enough. Obviously, I don't love laying 10 goals ever, but I just feel like it's a perfect spot for this Sydney side to bounce back. I think, yeah, obviously coming off a loss and a couple of disappointing-ish performances, like they haven't been great ATS the last couple of weeks. Whereas Richmond, I feel like they've covered their last couple. Obviously get that emotional win last week versus Essendon. You sort of felt like it meant a lot. And then yeah, now they're going up to Sydney. It just feels like they're going to get slaughtered. I think there's no weather. Like I just feel like Sydney just is going to put on, and we know this Sydney team. I think what they scored like in opening round, like I don't know, like 10, 11 goals versus Carlton in that one quarter, right? So, yeah, they definitely can put on. This number is fair enough. I think, like, as in, I didn't really bat an eye at this number. So yeah, fair enough for taking all those points because it's a massive number, but. I just think it's massive for a reason. I think Sydney can win this by 100 plus points. Just an awful spot for this young Richmond side. But yeah, fair
Yeah.
enough. Another clash there. Moving on to Brisbane versus Freo. Saturday afternoon game at the Gabba. Last time they played, Fremantle were 3.5 point favorites. Brisbane ended up blowing them out by 57. This time around, Brisbane are 5.5 point favorites. Give me Brisbane minus 5.5 here. I really like this one. I feel like the hate's gone way too far on this Brisbane side. Like everyone's like challenging them now, saying that they've lost their mojo. I can't, I don't see it. Like, yep, they lost to Geelong at home, but Geelong, as we said, they're premiership favourites right now. And last week versus the Giants, that's just an anomaly. Like who's shocked that a team that has the nickname Orange Tsunami put up 14 goals? Is anyone shocked? But if I told you that happened before the game, like yeah, you'd be surprised, but you'd be like, oh yeah, I can see that the Giants can do that. Yeah, they just caught up in that. I just feel like the hate's gone way too far. You're getting a great number here. Fremantle, this is a scheduled loss for them. Like they've won what 10 in a row. Like think about it, it's a team that's won 10 games in a row, and they're dogs. Like they're dogs for a reason. It means that this is the spot for this Brisbane side. And as we said, I know they're a favorite at the Gabby here, but they have covered a couple of games again. I'm thinking Collingwood. I'm thinking Adelaide. So yeah, that's come back down to earth. So yeah, schedule losses for this Freo side. Give me Brisbane to respond in a big way, laying the 5.5. How do you read it?
We're clashing again, mate. I thought I was falling into a trap, and now that you're giving your pick, I'm falling into it a little bit more. But
I think it is a trap.
I've gone with Freo here at plus 5.5. Pretty much just taking the points. Like close game, it could go either way. I feel like it's going to be super close game. You know, lead changes every 5-10 minutes. So yeah, based off that, I'm going with Freo here. But yeah, I can definitely see a world where they just get blown out. Praying they don't. I hope it's a close game, but yeah, just thought I'd squeeze that one in.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Again, Premiership favorite getting points, so not going to ding you for that. But as I said, I think it's just a bad spot for them. Moving on to the Western Bulldogs first Collingwood Saturday night game at Marvel. Last time we played, Western Bulldogs are 9.5 point dogs. Collingwood ended up winning by 6. I think we were both on the dogs that game. Got the cover there. This time around, the Western Bulldogs are 7.5 point favorites. We're going this one.
Stay away for me. I think just two teams that are just severely injured at the moment, especially what happened last week. Collingwood obviously went down with a few players. We saw Bulldogs play some decent footy, but you know, I don't know if you want to say if that was just against Melbourne, but like Melbourne's been playing pretty well as well. So bit of a hard read. So I'm just playing it safe and staying away from it because genuinely cannot find any reason to go with either team. So yeah, what about you?
Yeah, same for me. Collingwood almost made my 5, but I put in Carlton in the end. But Collingwood almost made my 5 just because I don't know when they're these like random dogs. Like I'm thinking like the Freo one, and the Sydney one. But yeah, so they're 4-2 ATS as dogs this season. So yeah, a couple of times they got blown out by Brisbane and the Geelong one. But yeah, so yeah, the Collingwood side. If they're dogs, you kind of want to take them, but I'm scared it's a little bit of emotional letdown after the whole Pendlebury thing last week, but also with this Western Bulldogs side, like they had a tough emotional win versus Melbourne last week as well. Bonts, you can tell he's banged up, like but yeah, I think they might be getting English back. There's talks maybe Waitman's back as well, so a couple big ins. Obviously, English would be a big one. But yeah, I'm staying away from it just because, yeah, I'm not sure. It could sort of, I feel like it's a coin flip and it can go either way. Moving on to Melbourne versus GWS Sunday afternoon game at Alice Springs. Last time they played, Melbourne with 3.5 point dogs, ended up losing by 3, so got the cover in the end. This time around, Melbourne are 4.5 point favorites. Give me the Giants plus 4.5, and give me the Giants to blow out this Melbourne side here. Mate, who wants to get in front of this Giants side? Did you guys watch last week? Why are they dogs? I make them dogs by like a 1.5 point dog. So yeah, getting a pretty good number here. This has come down from, I think, 5.5 and 6.5 at a couple books. Come down to 4.5, pretty much all around now. But I don't know. Do you want to get in front of this Giant side? Like, good luck to you if you do. If they don't cover this, I'm not going to be mad at this pick at all. I'm making this 100 times out of 100. this Melbourne side at Alice Springs historically hasn't been great. I think the last couple of years they haven't covered there. They got blown out a couple of years ago versus Freo. I said last week they're 1-3 ATS away from the MCG. Now they're 1-4 ATS away from the MCG. This is not again. This is not at the MCG, so gonna fade them there. And yeah. Think about it. How have Melbourne done at a neutral venue versus another team? Oh wait, yes, they lost to Essendon, who just sacked their coach in Gallagher at the Adelaide Oval as favourites. So yeah, absolutely love this for the Giants. As we say, when the Orange Tsunami gets going, it's so hard to stop. So yeah, give me Giants and the points and to blow out this Melbourne side. What do you think?
Yeah, I wanted to jump on Giants as well, but I just felt this line was so fishy, and I couldn't figure out why. So it's stay away from me, but yeah, I feel like it's GWS or nothing here.
Yeah, exactly, man. Like, well, I can't believe they're catching points. Anyway,
Yeah,
moving on to West Coast versus Essendon Sunday night game at Optus. Last time I played, West Coast were 26.5 point dogs. Essendon ended up winning by two, so comfortable cover there for West Coast. This time around, West Coast are 6.5 point favorites. I have a feeling where you're going to go here.
like the obvious choice would be Essendon, eh? But I'm naturally not going with Essendon. Give me West Coast minus 6.5. I feel
No,
like, yeah,
no, no. I
look,
feel betrayed.
look, the trend is always go with the dog in these games, but I feel like, and you know, you've also got they've just sacked the coach, so there's that trend as well. But I feel like people are jumping on that a bit too much. And you know, you look at the team, you look at Essendon as a team, and like they just have no cohesion, and like at the moment they're just in the bin. Like at least, you know, with Carlton, they at least had some decent footy. They could play at least like a half of footy. It was just the rest of it that they couldn't figure out. Whereas this Essendon team, like they're just all over the place, and I cannot figure out how they sort of, you know, find a way to, you know, cover this line. And West Coast, they play decent footy. They've got home ground advantage. And give me West Coast here, minus 6.5.
I hate that, mate. Give me Essendon plus 6.5 and give me Essendon to win out right here. What are we doing here, man? We know what we're doing. Two bad teams go up the dog. West Coast, who the hell are they to be laying 6.5 points against anyone? New coach bounce, whatever you want, whatever reasoning you want. I can't believe you're going West Coast here. But fair enough. Like I get the thing where you feel like everyone's sort of jumping on it. I don't think they are. Like, yep, this number was actually at 12.5. So I'm not getting the best number. So you're getting a pretty good number here. It's at 6.5. But so yeah, actually before the Brad Scott news, I sort of liked West Coast to win, but Essendon to cover. But now after that new coach bounce, I don't know. We just see it so often. We see it with Carlton now. And yet there's things that you can fix with this Essendon side structurally. So I think what happens is like the players like want to like impress, I guess, like the new coach or
Hit
whoever's
their
like trying
spot.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And they or trying, or if they're like on the fringe, they're trying to sort of be a mainstay in the side. So I think maybe that has to do with the new coach bounce thing. But yeah, again, West Coast laying points. I'm just never gonna be in that position with this West Coast side now. Shocked that you're on it, but yeah, and I think that's the fourth clash now. So yeah, give me Essendon the points clashing on that. I think there's a little bit of weather around as well. Oh, one more stat is Essendon as road dogs are 3-1 ATS this season. So against Suns, they were competitive. Against the Giants, they almost won outright, and against Melbourne, obviously they won outright. So pretty good win. Like no one's watching and the pressure's off. So yeah, give me Essendon and that points. All right. As I said last week, no survivor for all these buy rounds. We'll see if we keep it going. After maybe we'll just give our picks anyway. But I got through the whole 11 rounds, so that was nice. But yeah, no survivor from now on. But yeah, Cuss, run us through your five picks before we wrap up here.
Yep, so I got St Kilda plus 18.5, Geelong minus 23.5, Richmond plus 60.5, Freo plus 5.5, and West Coast minus 6.5.
Nice. A couple favorites in there. So I've thrown a couple favorites in as well because it's a buy rounds and less games to choose from. So give me Carlton plus 23.5, Sydney minus 60.5, Brisbane minus 5.5, Giants plus 4.5, and Essendon plus 6.5. Gonna be an interesting
Oh,
week. Like we're
yeah,
four clashes is crazy. We could still both go 3-2. I believe
yeah.
that's probably the most likely outcome here. But yeah, at least one of us will have a good week, so that's good. Um, but yeah, yeah. Closing thoughts, Cuss, before we wrap up today's episode.
Yeah, like you said, I hope we both go at least 3-2, because otherwise one of us is going to have a very rough week. But yeah, you'll hear all about it next week.
That's right. Tune in next week for all the fallout. As a reminder, please leave a like on this video and subscribe. And until next week, bye.